Welcome to the Menu Skins and Colors tutorial video for Mega Menu. Let's get straight into it. Here we go. I've got this particular design, the default skin, transparent sky, already applied to this menu, but I've already set up some other ones to give you an idea of the range of styles available. It's this one. This particular one has a hover effect. When you hover over a page with an icon, it will show the icon. But it gives a nice tabbed look. This one's a little more dreamy, unicorn sort of feel. There's some rainbow animations in the background. We've got this lighter style, which has been inspired by the Stripe website, stripe.com. There's a more open, spacious style that could be more used for chic type fashion websites. We've got this one inspired by photography with the animation as it's hovering over the top menu links. This particular design is very compact and small, which has been inspired by the Nike.com menu system. Then we've got several darker designs. So all the previous ones were designed for a light background in your theme. These ones are designed for a darker background if that's what you choose. It's got a nice animation when you hover over at the top level. This one's a little bit warmer colors. They're inspired by the sunset. And then last one here, we've got a darker blue, more a business corporate feel. If you want to see all of the designs that are available, head to the modern skin demos on the Mega Menu user guide. You can see the names and a short description underneath each one, as well as a screenshot showing all the different components, including the search tool, the member menu, and the language switch. And there they are, the separated ones with dark backgrounds. Okay, let's see how this works. I put the page into edit mode and we'll edit this block. So head to the color tab and then expand skin. And this is where you can control the coloring and styling of the menu. This is a skin type, and this is a range of different options, but depending on how you want to treat your skins. I try to cater to a wide range of different scenarios and use cases. Most of the time, people want something simple and easy, yet beautiful. You probably head to the modern design. From there, you can choose these different skin styles that I just showed you examples of. These are the names and then a short description. Once you make a change, you just hit save and the change is visible within a second. There we go. All right, let's go back. There's two other fields underneath here. For every modern skin, you can choose a skin primary hue and a skin secondary hue. So how this works is that all these modern skins are based around two colors, one primary one, which you can choose yourself, and one secondary one, which you can also choose. If you don't choose them, the default color will be chosen for you. And if you're not familiar with color theory and how colors work in web pages, I'll show you some useful resources here. This is a color wheel on the Mozilla documentation website. You can see here, it's in a circle from 0 to 360 degrees, and every color from the rainbow is represented there. So as you go around the circle, these numbers represent colors on the color wheel. This other tool called the HSL color picker, I've actually made that one available for you in the documentation here. Choose your own color hue, that will open up with this. So if you don't know how to choose a hue, this tool will make it much easier. So this is the same idea as the color wheel, just put into a linear format. So as you scroll back and forth, you can see the color change, and the number on the right side is what changes. That is the number of degrees, 54 in this case for a yellow, and 179 for a cyan, and 306 for magenta. So you can really change any of these up to 360 degrees of colors, and even within those, you can get into decimal points. So you've got very granular control. HSL represents the words hue, saturation, and lightness. So these are the three different things which are changed here: hue, then how saturated that color is from complete saturation all the way to completely dull and gray. And then the last thing is lightness, which is on a scale between white and black. And that's pretty much those three things make up the color from HSL. This tool has another additional detail, which is transparency. So all the websites and the older style of building color in websites worked around RGB, red, green, blue. So those three colors would be mixed together and it would come up with a final color. Now, the modern approach is using HSL because it gives us more flexibility in what we can do. So all these modern skins are built around this HSL concept. Now, this is where the primary hue and secondary hue come into it. I can choose any hue I want, but I don't choose the saturation. I just choose the hue, and the number there will automatically be chosen for me. So I've chosen a deep royal blue, and it's given me 205, which is where it appears on that circle on the color wheel. If I also choose the same thing for the secondary color, same thing happens here. So that's how I can change the colors. I wanted a more red style, and you can slide up and down here how you'd like it. Hit that. And when you hit save, you'll see the changes straight away. There you go. So there's an infinite number of possible color combinations and skins that you can use with Mega Menu. If you don't know what colors to choose, down here is a button that will allow you to automatically set the hues from your active theme. If your theme supports the color collections, then you can allow it to do that for you. On the Help tab, I'll go down to the bottom. There's some useful theme info for styling. This tells us what our current active theme is for the website. And if the theme has a color collection, it will show you these right here. So we can see the exact hex color that's being used. And we can allow Mega Menu to use the primary color and the accent color as a secondary one. And this is how it's done. We head to the color tab. We scroll down to this button, automatically set hues from active theme. And there we go, it chose a color for us. We didn't have to look it up or do anything special. If your theme that you're using isn't like Atomic, then you have to choose your colors yourself, or you can leave them as the default colors. It's up to you. Okay, next thing I'll show you is we're going to come back to the skin types in a moment, but I'd like to demonstrate dark mode. So we can support dark mode either by the device, or you can force light mode or dark mode. I usually recommend leaving auto switched on. So this allows the Mega Menu to change the styling in the skin depending on the device preferences. So let's have a look what that looks like. I'm going to take my device and switch it into dark mode now. And you see some of the colors change. Now, because the Atomic theme by itself has not got dark mode support built into it, you don't really get to see the full effect because the rest of the page doesn't change color. In those sort of situations, what we can use is this block background. We can choose whether or not we want to have the modern skin choose a background for us, or if you manually want to choose a light and a dark mode background. So in this case, it looks fine when it's in light mode. For dark mode, I'm going to let the skin choose. Now if we'll switch the device back into dark mode, you see now it's got a dark background. So the menu looks a little better. Naturally, it's best if you can have your whole theme support dark mode, but in the cases where you don't have the skills to do that, at least the menu system can support dark mode, and it can have a good degree of control exactly how that works. If you wanted, for example, that background to be a different color, no problem. We just switch the block background from auto into manual mode, and you can choose your own. So for example, I'm going to leave the background as transparent, so empty for light mode, and for dark mode, perhaps I want a darker brown color like this. So when I hit save, there we go. Maybe not the best color, but you get the idea. Let's have a look at some more options under skin type. I'm just going to reset these so we don't need these anymore. I'll turn that block background off. Okay, skin type. Okay, under skin type, the other options we have is make my own style, which can be flexible for users who don't have any technical expertise, but you still want to have a degree of control. We can choose some things here like a gradient degree and a lot of fields here for deciding how the top level menu is colored. You can change the background, the text, the hover, the text background hover, whatever the current navigation path is, whether or not you want borders. And when you choose some of these options, more fields will appear, whether how thick you want your border, color of the border when it's hovered, and even a text shadow. You get a separate set of options for the drop-down menu, how you want the background to be, the text color, and so forth, as well as choosing what the drop shadow is, and if you want rounded corners on that as well. So I'll leave all these as a default option. You can see what that looks like. Okay, go. You can see these colors that have all been set. It's not quite as pretty as the modern skins, but it does give you a huge amount of control exactly how you want it. So you can go crazy and choose any kind of color you want for all the different elements on the menu without having to change any code or know any code underneath the hood. Interestingly enough, all of the skins, including this make your own skin, respect basic style options here on the style tab. So whatever you choose here for font size, font weight, padding, rounded corners, even if you do choose to make your own skin, those two things are separate and it will allow you to have even more control exactly how it looks. Okay, the other kind of skins we'll look at is a custom. If you're already familiar with CSS design, then you can really go crazy and make your own one, and you've got a lot of room to move with this. It gives you a default skeleton set of CSS code that you can use to start with, and that's just very plain, very not a lot of color in there. You can see that's what it looks like, and then you can add pretty much anything you want: borders, padding, drop shadows, you name it. If you know CSS, you can go crazy with that. I'll leave that one. There's a separate documentation I've got to which you can go into more detail about how to customize your own skin. So if you head to the user guide, and I've gone into some details here about what to do about setting your own skin up from scratch. And for theme designers, if you want to add a skin into your theme, then I've given some detailed step-by-step instructions there as well under for theme designers. Okay, let's have a look at the last options. There are standard flat and standard glossy. These are legacy options from an older version of Mega Menu, but I've left them in there so that if users still want to have that option, it's there. I don't recommend it. It doesn't support dark mode, which is why dark mode gets hidden, but it is there because there might be a small number of users who want that. And this is the option, let my theme decide. So if you've bought a theme from a developer or your agency and they've already built in support for Mega Menu styling, you don't have to worry about it. Then you leave this option. If you happen to choose this option and the menu doesn't look particularly styled at all, just like that, then it means that the theme doesn't have support. So you would have to choose your own skin option then. But it does make it easier if a theme designer or an agency wants to be able to build that for you, but then you don't have to fiddle around with it or change anything or break anything. Next, we're going to have a look at the show skin demo. If I head over here to modern, this only applies to modern skins. You'll see this checkbox saying show skin demo. I check that, and then it's say what it's going to do is show this large swatch with different colors. So the way that a modern skin works with Mega Menu is that there is a series of surfaces. These are a concept in web design where you have colors for the surface and colors for the text. And this basically gives you a standardized way of seeing all the colors that we're working with. If you think of a palette that an artist might use when they're painting, it's the same sort of idea. These are the sets of colors that we're working with, and then we can apply these different colors in different uses. So this whole color swatch is driven by two primary hues. You can remember the blue that we set, and then also a more reddy color that's taken the hue, the saturation is automatically calculated, and then the lightness has been calculated and using some formulas automatically for you. So that's the beauty of the modern skins, is that you can see how this is going to look without having to constantly go in and out of edit mode. If you want to try and see what the different colors and color sets look like, you might decide, okay, maybe that color isn't quite the one I'm going for, and you can go back in and change your hue in the way that you want. Maybe you want more of a green, for example. So you choose that one. Don't have to exit edit mode, and you see how the green's going to apply there. And you see it both in the light mode side by side with the dark mode. So the dark mode is not the exact same colors. It's still using the same hue, but with different saturation and lightness so that it's more optimized for a darker screen. Now, for the people who are developing their own skins from scratch, you probably want to be able to play with this while you're no longer in edit mode, but it's designed so that once you get out of edit mode, that will be completely hidden because you never want your end user to see that. That's just, while you're still building out the website. So if you're looking at this and you want to have some idea of where you're going to style certain elements, and you need that show skin demo visible, then there is one way you can do that. That's over here in the dashboard under Mega Menu settings, there is this option to enable designer mode. But just make sure that you don't do this when you're on a production website, only while you're in development. Okay, and lastly, we're going to look at how to override a color of one particular menu item. You'll see here the About page has been colored red. Head over to the sitemap, and if you click on that page, choose attributes, there's one specific attribute called Mega Menu Page Color. And you can put in here a HTML word that represents the color. You can use a hex color, HSL, RGB, any form of a valid color in HTML, and you can use that. So if I set that to green instead and save that, we'll see the change straight away. There we go. Now About has become green. Keep in mind that if you do choose to do this, then it won't be responsive to dark mode. It'll stay the same color all the time, whether in light mode or dark mode. But it gives you some room to change a few pages if you want to do that way. That gives you now a good overview about how the modern skins work and the different kind of skin options on Mega Menu. We've got dark mode covered and how to create your own skin as well, and links to other documentation. So if you need more resources on how to handle this, please take a look at the Mega Menu user guide. There is a lot more rich information there. Highly recommend checking it out. And in the next video, we're going to cover advanced menu content. So stick around.